Hey everyone, how's it going, eh? So, this is a little project I did for my game room. I'm a general contractor and electrician by trade. So, I do quite a few like hands-on real life projects. And I'm gonna start putting them on my channel here and see what you guys think of them. So, here is a Virpil throttle mount that I built from a piece of black pipe, union, and just some flat bar. And tell me if you like it. Thanks. Okay, so the whole point of this exercise is I was hoping to get something that we can mount this kind of like that. So that's my throttle, and we can put that there, and then I have another control panel over there that I want to put up here. So I can have buttons up here that I don't use too much. My throttles will sit here at an angle, and I already run twin Virpils, so I already have throttle and everything on this stick really, but this is just in case I'm doing another flight sim that requires a throttle as well. So that is what we are going to do, and I have drilled a hole in my beautiful desk right here because that is where we're going to mount the thing we're going to build. So let's see how that works out. Okay, so I took this flat bar and I bent it on the vise, and I'm just cutting it right now on my metal cutter, and then we are going to put it onto my piece of black pipe. This is a black pipe union, a 1-inch black pipe union, and it's going to sit just like that, and we're going to have a pivot point with a bolt through there, and it should work out just perfect for that. So now we're drilling holes, and so we can center everything, and this is a pilot hole, and we're going to drill a bigger hole right after this. And we have to do it on the other side as well. Then we can put it together here and see if our bolt will fit. I had to give it a little bit of persuasion for the first time, and then she was pretty stiff. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill this out all the way through, so we have one continuous hole throughout the entire through it, and that should give our bolt a lot easier to go in and out, and it should give our pivot point so we can actually make that move, which seems to move pretty okay now. Okay, so what I did here is I cut off the end of a pipe, threaded pipe, and then I wanted to thread it into there, and then that will perfectly center my bolt underneath, and that bolt is what is going to hold it to the table. That's going to go through the bottom of the table. Just put it on the top of the table. This, I'll have a hole in the table. This will go through. Probably put a washer on that. Suck it down tight. And then this is going to be my pivot point. This pivots this way. This pivots this way to tilt. I might put one more pivot in it so that it goes back this way, back and forth, and then I'd have to have another pivot underneath, but we might just start out simple. You can see I set that down just a little bit below so I can scrape off that top there with a grinder at the end. And then I'm just going to put a couple tack welds in there to hold the bolt in place, or the nut in place. And then I can grind off the top and make it perfectly smooth to clamp down onto the table. Okay, so now that we have it tacked welded and all in place, we are going to run the bolt through it, because usually when you weld stuff it gets warped out of place and then the threads go a little out of whack. So as you can see, it actually gets pretty tough for me to put the bolt in here, but I'll just run the bolt in and out of here just to clean up the threads on the nut, and then we can continue on with the next step. And our next step is going to be making the backing plate for the throttle. So I have laid out the pilot holes in this piece of aluminum, and then I've marked them on my piece of flat steel. And I'm going to drill my pilot holes. And then we will drill, I think it's like just a little bigger than a 1/4 inch hole for the actual mounting bolts. So this piece is way too thick for our application, but it's what I have on hand. So we're going to use it, and I'm just going to cut it off right here to make a nice little base plate for underneath the Virpil controller. And then we will weld it, just tack weld it under there. So I'm just going to tack this. I'm going to put this into the vise so I can get a ground to it for the welder. And then I'm going to put that perfectly on there and just give it a couple tacks on either side. Okay, so I've already welded, and now I'm just going to give them a little coat of paint here. Before I welded, I went to go test it out, and I noticed that it would work way better if I had it offset like that. So I offset it, and then as you can see here, putting it onto the bottom of the controller. Okay, so drilling into this pretty desk isn't a fun thing, but that's what we got to do. So we're going to drill the big hole next here. Okay, not nice, but okay, so I put it onto the desk now. I bolted it with that large bolt, and I put a couple washers underneath the bottom of it there. This thing actually splits apart the union. A little bit of persuasion. Okay, so I got everything put together now. I just have to tighten down the bolts and everything. As you can see, it's all there. And this is when everything is tightened up and ready. I have it all tight. I made a second one there because I wanted my second controller kind of the same way. Worked out really nice. I just did the exact same thing again. And then I went and see, that's the second panel there, and the throttle, and it's all solid. Everything's not moving, free motion, not gonna hit the joystick or anything like that when I'm running joysticks. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. So if you like these projects, let me know. Thanks.